Today I make these miniatures go from undead to unbelievable. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm painting the undead mob from Massive Darkness 2, and they are primed with Necrotic Flesh. I originally had a different plan for what I was going to do for these guys. I wasn't going to follow the artwork too much. I was going to make them look more decayed and stuff, but I decided no, I want to try and stick to the artwork. So we're going to be starting with some pale skin on the mob leader and the minions. So this pale skin is from Zombicide Invader, the paint set. This is a unique paint. I mean, you could use any really pale color. I don't know, some sort of corpse pale maybe even would work on this, but this was going to work perfectly for what I was going to do afterwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to skip ahead. You're going to see how I paint the skin on the leader and on the minions. Next, to really make these undead pop, we're going to be using some dead flesh. This is from Scale 75 Instant Color Range. And we're going to be putting on exactly where we did the skin before. And this is going to get into the crevices. It works like a contrast or an ink or a speed paint. As you can see, it really gives that skin that really undead look, really pale, really, I don't know, gross looking. So that was the leader, and now we're doing the minions. Of course, this is batch painting. There are 6 of the minions. So it takes a little bit longer than what you see on the video, of course, and it is fun to batch paint sometimes. And yes, I could have done speed paints, and that's what I was saying. I was going to do something completely different with the Necrotic Flesh. I should have used white and then just worked from there and use a whole bunch of speed paints in that, but I decided, you know what, let's use some Necrotic Flesh once in a while. Now we're using some Sturge Tan, and we're putting this on the guts that are coming out of the mob leader, and we're going to be putting this on all the tongues of the minions. So you're going to see that coming up in a second there. So very quickly just dab that on the tongue there, and there you go, folks. Next, we're moving on to Chaotic Red. This is going to be for the skirts or the drabs or whatever you want to call these things, or the dresses of the leader and the minions. There isn't much to say about this. If you shake this up really well, you're going to get a good coat. One coat should do the job, but even if some of that necrotic flesh comes through a little bit, the wash is going to take care of that later, and it also gives it a little bit more of a dirty look to it as well. Alright, moving on to Rigid Brown. This is another unique paint from that Zombicide Invader paint set from the Army Painter. It is a very orangey brown, very good for leather and stuff like that, especially when you put a wash over it. Now it looks a little bright, but that'll be taken care of later. So we're doing this on pretty much all the pouches and any kind of, like, anything that are anyways, that should be like brownish leather. So pouches, belts, these, like the sword sheath things, and it looks like a quiver or something on a leader. So we're gonna be doing the same thing pretty much on the minions. Yeah, but we're also gonna do the staff of this guy's big scimitar or whatever he's holding on the minions. So going with that Rigid Brown, we're just gonna finish off this sword sheath here. We did his belts, as you can see, the pouches, and then we're just gonna do the shaft here to make it kind of uniform. And I'm also making all these minions look the same instead of like different. Like I could have went with a different darker red or something different for the bottom. I could have went with different browns, but I just figured they're all, you know, from the same group. And now we're using some rough iron. This is a metallics paint from the Army Painter. This is pretty much for all the armor that these guys have, and also the tip of the sword or the blade that the minions have. So if you're liking these videos and these mobs and these roaming monsters and all that I'm painting up here on the channel, please hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel and haven't seen my videos before, consider subscribing. I got some pretty awesome painting videos. We just hit the 600 mark of subscribers. That is awesome. Thank you very much. And also, if you guys want to have some power over what kind of games I paint or minions in here, or like miniatures, head over to Patreon and become a patron. Tier 3 gives you voting rights, Tier 2 as well, certain voting rights, and you help me decide what I'm going to paint in the future. Alright, now we're moving on to some gunmetal. This is from Army Painter. It's another metallics paint. We're going to be doing all these little chains, some parts on the shield, and on the mob leader, we're actually going to be doing his big swords. So we're going to just move ahead, and we're going to show you now what it looks like on the minions as well. I know I'm skipping through quite a bit and talking a little less on these videos, but it's just because there's so much going on. I don't want you to just be staring at a screen of me painting a minion or a mob leader, so I'm skipping through, but you get the gist of it when you see it. You can see here I'm doing like that ball that's inside his big scimitar thing, the tips of shields, you do the chain links, you know, here and there you just put on some of this nice metallic paint and it makes them pop a little bit more. Alright, moving on now, we're going to be using some light tone on the entirety of the miniature except for the skin. However, if you do touch that skin, it's not a big deal because it'll give it like a little touch of brown hue, sort of like almost like rotting even more or even more fresh. So we just pretty much the entirety of the miniature of the mob leader as well as the minions. And once again, if you're enjoying these videos, people, just please hit that like button. Comment down below what you're working on. You can also take a look in the description. There's a link to my Discord channel there. You can share some of the work you're working on. And we can talk about other hobbies as well there. Next, we're going to be using some disgusting slime on the minions just for this spewing vomit that's coming out of their mouth. And then we're going to use some glistening blood to finish off the miniatures. I don't use glistening blood often on miniatures usually, especially, I don't know, but anyways, on the guts I just want a little bit of like this bloody feeling to it. And on the blades of the minions, I just want like the edge of it. I also got some blood on the leader there. So there you have it, folks. The undead mob is painted and ready for the table. Look how cool they look. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.